Alex Mason sat at his desk in his small apartment in Boston, staring at the strange object floating above his cluttered workspace. The holographic invitation spun slowly, its alien text shifting every few seconds into English. He reached out, to touch it, his fingers passing through the light display. It was real, it was really happening. Selected as Earth's first representative to the Galactic Academy of Sciences, the message read, "Transport arriving in 14 Earth days." Alex took a deep breath and leaned back in his chair. At 26, he had already earned 2 degrees from MIT in xenobiology and quantum mechanics. His research on cross-species genetic compatibility had apparently caught someone's attention, someone very far from Earth. Earth had only joined the Galactic Confederation 2 years ago after first contact was made in the Arizona desert. The Italiano aliens, a delegation of 7 different species, had arrived in peace. They explained that they had been watching humanity for decades, waiting for certain technological benchmarks before making themselves known. What humans learned next changed everything they thought about their place in the universe. Earth was classified as a Class 12 death world, a planet with extreme gravity, dangerous weather, high radiation, and countless predators. Most aliens in the galaxy came from worlds rated between Class 3 and Class 8. The fact that humans could even exist on such a dangerous planet made them biological oddities. Alex's phone rang, breaking his trance. It was Dr. Keaton from the Department of Extraterrestrial Relations. "I assume you got the invitation?" she asked without preamble. "Yes, just now." "Is this real, Dr. Keaton?" "Very real, Alex. The Academy has existed for over 3,000 years. They accept students from all Confederation worlds. You're the first human they've invited." Alex stood up and began pacing. "Why me? Your paper on cross-species genetic markers caught their attention. Plus you're young, healthy, and single with no dependents. The program lasts 3 Earth years." "So I'd be the only human there? Among how many aliens?" "About 10,000. Students from across the Milky Way," Dr. Keaton said. "And yes, the only human. For now." The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of vaccinations, briefings, and packing. Alex was given crash courses in Confederation etiquette, basic xenobiology of common species, and training on using his translator implant. He said goodbye to his parents in Chicago, promising to send messages when possible, though they were told communication would be limited by vast distances. On the morning of his departure, Alex stood in a secure facility in Nevada, carrying only one small suitcase. The government officials around him seemed more nervous than he was. "Remember," said General Foster, "you're representing all of humanity now. The impression you make could affect our standing in the Confederation for generations." "No pressure," Alex mumbled. A low hum filled the room as a section of the ceiling became transparent. Through it, Alex could see a sleek silver craft descending. It made no sound besides the gentle hum. "Good luck, son," the general said, stepping back. A beam of blue light appeared in the center of the room, and within it materialized a figure. It stood about 5 feet tall, with 4 arms, pale blue skin, and large, dark eyes that blinked sideways. The alien wore what looked like flowing robes made of a material that shifted colors with each movement. "Greetings." The translator in Alex's ear converted the series of clicks and whistles. "I am First Navigator Jen of the Academy transport vessel Starlight Seeker. Are you Alex Mason of Earth?" "Yes," Alex said, trying to remember the proper greeting. He placed his right hand over his heart and gave a small bow. "I am honored by your presence and grateful for safe passage." The alien's eyes blinked rapidly, which Alex had been told indicated pleasure. "Well met, Alex Mason. Please stand within the light for molecular transport." Alex stepped into the blue beam, clutching his suitcase tightly. The room around him faded, and for a brief moment he felt nothing. Not his body, not the air, not even his thoughts. Then reality reassembled itself, and he found himself in a circular room with curved walls of some pearlescent material. "Welcome aboard," said Navigator Jen. "We will reach Academy space in 7 of your Earth days. Your quarters have been prepared, with Earth standard gravity and atmosphere. Would you like to rest first, or would you prefer a tour of the vessel? A tour, please, Alex said, trying to hide his excitement. I'd like to see everything. As Jen led him through the ship, Alex saw aliens of various shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human except for strange colors or extra limbs. Others were completely different. Floating gas clouds contained in special fields, crystalline beings that moved by rearranging their segments, and creatures that seemed to shift between solid and liquid states. Most stopped to stare at him. Some moved away quickly. Alex remembered his briefings. Humans were seen as biological curiosities at best, potential monsters at worst. Their physical strength, endurance, and tolerance for pain far exceeded most galactic species. Humans could survive conditions that would kill most aliens instantly. Do not be troubled by their reactions, Jen said quietly. Most have never seen a Deathworlder before. Stories of Earth are somewhat exaggerated in galactic culture. What kind of stories? Alex asked. That humans can break metal with their bare hands, that you hunt predators for sport, that you deliberately consume toxins for pleasure, that your young engage in recreational activities that would be considered survival training on most worlds. Alex thought about football, rock climbing, and spicy food. Those aren't exactly exaggerations. Jen's eyes blinked rapidly again. Perhaps not. Here is your quarter. The room was spacious, with furnishings that resembled Earth styles. A large window showed the stars streaking by as the ship traveled faster than light. The Academy is most eager to welcome its first human student, Jen said. Your faculty advisor, Professor Zilksteran, has prepared a special curriculum to accommodate your unique biology and educational background. What can you tell me about the professor? Alex asked. Zilksteran is from the Proxima Centauri system, a most distinguished xenobiologist who has studied over 300 different sentient species. The professor is particularly interested in extreme environment adaptations. After Jen left, Alex sat on the edge of what appeared to be a bed, though it adjusted its firmness automatically to support his weight. The reality of his situation was finally sinking in. He was on an alien ship, heading to an alien school, where he would be the only human among thousands of extraterrestrial beings. 7 days later, Alex stood at the viewing window as the ship approached the Academy. His breath caught in his throat. It was enormous, a rotating wheel nearly 15 miles across with spokes connecting to a central hub. Different sections glowed with various colors, and ships of all sizes moved around it like bees around a hive. The Academy Station, announced Jen, who had come to stand beside him. Home to the greatest scientific minds in the galaxy for 3 millennia, and now home to the first human accepted into its halls. As the ship docked at one of the spokes, Alex felt a mixture of fear and excitement. Whatever waited for him inside would change his life forever. More importantly, it might change how the galaxy viewed Earth and humanity. The airlock doors slid open. Alex took a deep breath of recycled ship air, adjusted the strap of his bag, and stepped forward to meet his future. Alex stepped through the airlock doors into the Academy Station. The gravity felt slightly lighter than Earth's, making him feel bouncy and strange. The air had an odd sweet smell that his briefings had not prepared him for. A gelatinous being waited just inside. It stood about 6 feet tall, with 6 waving tentacles and a translucent body that pulsed with blue and green lights. Alex recognized it as a Proximan from the images he had studied. Alex Mason of Earth, the being's translator hummed. I am Professor Zilksteran. Welcome to the Galactic Academy of Sciences. Alex placed his hand over his heart and bowed slightly. Thank you, Professor. I'm honored to be here. The professor's body rippled, which Alex hoped was a positive reaction. We are most intrigued by your presence. You are the first of your kind to join us. Your quarters have been specially reinforced to withstand your planet's gravity simulation. We hope you find it adequate. They moved through wide corridors filled with students of many species. Alex tried not to stare, but it was difficult. Some aliens walked on 2 legs like humans, others on 4 or 6. Some floated, others slithered. A group of small, furry beings with 8 eyes rolled past on wheels. Every student they passed stopped to look at Alex. Many moved away quickly. Some made sounds his translator didn't catch. A few pointed small devices at him that Professor Zielkstaren quickly waved away. "Please excuse their curiosity," the professor said. "Deathworlders are rare in the Confederation, and humans are of particular interest." "Why is that?" Alex asked. "Most Class 12 worlds produce only simple life forms. The few that evolve intelligence tend toward hive minds or underwater civilizations. Bipedal, individualistic, land-dwelling sentience from such environments are extremely unusual." The professor led Alex to a door marked with Earth's symbol, a blue circle with green continents. "Your living space. Your roommate was selected for compatibility with human psychology." Roommate? Alex hadn't expected to share quarters. "Yes. Krill is from Nix 4, a small moon in the Sirius system. A science prodigy with a special interest in unique biological adaptations." The door slid open to reveal a spacious room divided into two areas. One side had standard furniture, a bed, desk, and chairs that looked almost Earth-like. The other side contained hanging pods and floating platforms. A thin being with 4 arms and pale yellow skin jumped up from one of the platforms. He, Alex guessed from the translator's voice, stood about 5 feet tall with large golden eyes and a crest of short tentacles where hair would be on a human. "Hello, I am Krill," he said, his voice coming through the translator with excited tones. "You are the human, the Deathworlder." "Yes, I'm Alex Mason." Alex offered his hand, then remembered this might not be universal and pulled back. Krill's eyes widened. "Were you going to touch me with your manipulator?" "Sorry, it's a human greeting called a handshake. I shouldn't have." No, I wish to try." Krill extended one of his 4 hands hesitantly. Alex gently took it and gave a light shake. Krill seemed amazed, his golden eyes growing even larger. "Your grip is so firm. Is it true that humans can break bones with their bare hands?" "Well, yes, but we don't make a habit of it," Alex replied with a laugh. His laughter seemed to startle Krill, who retreated behind a partition. "Apologies for my reaction. On my world, such vocalizations usually signal aggression." Professor Zilkstaren's body rippled again. "I will leave you to get settled. Your schedule has been uploaded to your academy tablet. Classes begin tomorrow at first rotation." After the professor left, Alex unpacked his few belongings. Krill watched from a safe distance, asking questions about Earth. "Is it true your world has liquid water falling from the sky?" "Yes, we call it rain. And solid water too?" "Snow, yes." "And your world has thousands of predator species?" "Probably more than that, actually." Krill's crest tentacles wiggled in what Alex guessed was excitement, or fear. "How wonderful and terrifying. And humans eat other life forms." "Plants and animals, yes, don't your people? We absorb nutrients from special algae and synthesized compounds. Most advanced species abandoned direct consumption of other life forms centuries ago." Alex felt suddenly self-conscious. "I brought some food from Earth, but I'll try not to eat it around you if it makes you uncomfortable." "No, I want to observe everything about humans. It is why I requested to be your roommate when they announced a Deathworlder was coming." The next morning, Alex found himself in his first class, Comparative Planetary Ecosystems. The lecture hall was massive, with seating adapted for various body types. As he entered, the room fell silent. Several gas-breathing Horovians moved to the opposite side of the room, their cloud-like bodies changing from blue to orange. The professor, a tall insectoid being, introduced Alex as a special guest student from Classification 12 Planet Earth. The words caused a wave of whispered translations to sweep through the room. During the lecture, Alex tried to focus on the material, but it was hard with so many eyes, sensory stalks, and scanning devices pointed at him. When he raised his hand to answer a question about Earth's tectonic activity, several students flinched. Lunch proved even more challenging. The Academy's dining hall served foods from hundreds of worlds. Alex had been given a special replicator card that produced Earth-like meals. He chose a simple sandwich, but as he bit into it, he realized many students were watching him. "Is that animal flesh?" asked a small, plant-like being at a nearby table. It's synthesized protein, Alex explained. But yes, it's meant to taste like turkey, a bird from Earth. The plant being's leaves curled inward, and it quickly moved away. Alex noticed other students watching with what seemed like horror or fascination. Later in physical assessment class, things became even more uncomfortable. The instructor, Dr. Velnar, a four-armed being with metallic skin, asked Alex to demonstrate human capabilities. "We have adjusted the testing equipment for your biology," Dr. Velnar explained. "Please perform a standard strength test." Alex did, a simple set of push-ups. The entire class backed away in alarm. When he completed a standing jump, the room erupted in concerned chatter. "The human can propel itself more than twice its height. Did you see how the floor dented under its landing? Those muscle contractions would tear my exoskeleton apart." By the end of the day, Alex was mentally exhausted. He returned to his quarters to find Krill talking excitedly with two other students, Lila, a bioluminescent humanoid whose blue skin gave off a gentle glow, and Zeph, an avian being with feathered arms and a sharp beak. "Alex, my friends wish to meet you," Krill said. "They are not afraid of Deathworlders." "We're studying xenoanthropology," Lila explained, her voice musical through the translator. "Humans are fascinating. Your adaptability is remarkable. And your mathematical approach to physical problems is impressive," added Zeph. "I observed your solution methodology in quantum theory class." For the first time since arriving, Alex felt a sense of belonging. These three students saw him as more than just a biological curiosity. By the end of the evening, they had formed a small study group. "This is the beginning of something important," Lila said as she and Zeph prepared to leave. "The first cross-species friendship group that includes a Deathworlder. Perhaps we can show others that humans are not merely monsters from a violent world." Alex smiled. "I'd like that, though I can't promise I won't occasionally terrify everyone by eating a sandwich." His new friends made sounds that his translator identified as laughter, and Alex felt hopeful. His first week had been strange and difficult, but now he had allies. Together, perhaps they could bridge the gap between Earth and the stars. The Galactic Academy's first Deathworlder student and their greatest shock. Part 3. 3 months passed at the Academy. Alex had settled into a routine. His small study group with Krill, Lila, and Zeph had grown to include 6 other students from different species. They met 3 times a week in a quiet corner of the library to discuss their classes and share knowledge about their home worlds. Most of the Academy's students still kept their distance from Alex, but the open fear had mostly changed to cautious curiosity. In the dining hall, a few brave students would now sit near him as he ate, watching with fascination as he consumed foods that would be toxic to most of them. "I still don't understand how you can eat plants that produce capsaicin," said Vren, a reptilian student who had recently joined their study group. "It's a defense chemical designed to cause pain." "Humans find it enjoyable," Alex explained, taking another bite of his replicated spicy noodles. "We call it spicy food." "You eat pain for pleasure," Vren said, shaking his scaled head. "Deathworlders are truly strange." Alex had also excelled in his classes. His unique perspective as a human often led him to solutions that others didn't see. Professor Zilkstarin had taken a special interest in Alex's work, particularly his ideas about cross-species, genetic compatibility. "Your approach is unorthodox," the professor had told him after class the previous day. "But that is precisely why it may yield results. The Academy values new ways of thinking." On this particular day, Alex was studying in the library when the soft background hum of the station suddenly changed pitch. The lights flickered, and a moment later, a deep rumble shook the floor beneath his feet. The station's smooth voice came over the speakers. "Attention, all beings. We are experiencing a gravitational stabilizer malfunction in Habitat Ring Section 7. Please remain calm and follow emergency protocols. Gravity in affected sections will be reduced to minimum safe levels." Alex felt the artificial gravity begin to weaken. Books and tablets started floating off the library tables. Most of the students seemed prepared for this type of emergency, calmly attaching themselves to safety tethers that extended from the walls. A second, Stronger rumble shook the station. This time, the voice sounded more urgent. Warning, critical, failure in gravitational systems. All non-essential personnel evacuate habitat ring immediately. Emergency services to Section 7. Alex grabbed his tablet and headed for the exit with the other students. In the corridor outside, chaos had begun to take hold. The reduced gravity was making movement difficult for many species, and some were clearly panicking. Alex. It was Lila floating toward him, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with stress patterns. The Ardelian delegation is trapped in Sector 7. They were having a symposium there. The environmental controls are failing too. Ardelians? Alex asked, trying to remember what he knew about the species. Crystalline beings from a low-gravity world, Lila explained quickly. Their bodies will shatter in gravitational fluctuations. The emergency teams can't reach them in time because the gravity shifts are too dangerous for most species. Alex made a quick decision. I can help. Where exactly are they? Alex, no. Sector 7 is experiencing gravity fluctuations between 0 and 3 times Academy standard. Even for a human, that's dangerous. Earth gravity is already higher than Academy standard, Alex said, and humans can survive much higher G-forces for short periods. I'll be fine. Before Lila could protest further, Alex pushed off down the corridor toward Sector 7. He passed frightened students and staff members moving in the opposite direction. The emergency lights had come on, bathing everything in a red glow. As he approached Sector 7, the gravity began to fluctuate wildly. One moment he felt nearly weightless. The next he was pressed to the floor by a force twice what he was used to on Earth. He gritted his teeth and kept moving, using the brief low-gravity periods to propel himself forward and bracing against walls during the high-gravity surges. He found the entrance to the symposium hall blocked by a collapsed section of ceiling. Through the gap, he could see the crystalline forms of the Ardelians trapped inside. 5 of them lay on the floor, their translucent bodies gleaming in the emergency lights. Debris from the ceiling had fallen around them, and the room's environmental shield was flickering, threatening to fail. I'm here to help, Alex called through the gap. The Ardelians responded with pulses of light that his translator couldn't interpret. Alex waited for the next low-gravity moment, then positioned himself by the largest piece of debris blocking the entrance. When the gravity surged again, he braced his legs and pushed with all his strength. The metal groaned but moved enough to create a passage. Stand back, he shouted to the few emergency responders who had managed to reach the area. I can handle this gravity. For the next 2 hours, Alex worked tirelessly in conditions that would have crushed most galactic species. During the low-gravity phases, he maneuvered carefully around the fragile Ardelians, securing them in special containment fields provided by the emergency team. During high-gravity phases, he cleared paths, reinforced collapsing sections, and carried the containment fields to safety. His muscles screamed with effort. Twice he felt ribs crack under the strain, but he kept working. The Ardelians weren't the only ones trapped. He found other beings in connecting rooms, including a group of plant-like florins whose root systems had been damaged in the initial shock. By the time the engineering team managed to stabilize the gravity, Alex had helped rescue 17 beings of various species. His body was covered in cuts and bruises, and every movement sent pain through his injured ribs. Yet he refused to leave until all the trapped beings were safely evacuated. When he finally emerged from Sector 7, he found a crowd waiting. Students and staff watched in silence as he limped past them, supported by 2 medical technicians. His clothes were torn and stained with his red blood, a color that many species found disturbing. The humans saved them, someone said, the translator, carrying the words clearly. It withstood gravity shifts that would kill most of us. Did you see it move that support beam? It must have weighed at least 400 units. Its exoskeleton is damaged. It's leaking fluid but still functioning. The medical bay was crowded with those injured in the incident. The chief medical officer, a tall, spindly being with 8 arms, personally attended to Alex. You have multiple fractures, torn muscle tissue, and internal bleeding, the doctor informed him. For most species, these would be life-threatening injuries. For humans, they're just really painful, Alex said, trying to smile despite the pain. Your body is already beginning repairs. Fascinating. The doctor applied a spray that immediately numbed Alex's pain. Your cellular regeneration rate is remarkable. You should be fully healed in approximately 14 standard days. As Alex rested on the medical bed, visitors began to arrive. First came Krill, Lila, and Zeph, all showing signs of what Alex had learned to recognize as their species' versions of concern. "You could have died," Lila said, her skin glowing a soft pink of worry. "But I didn't," Alex replied. "And neither did those 17 others. The whole academy is talking about what you did," Zeph added. "They're calling you the gentle monster, strong enough to break metal but careful enough to rescue fragile crystalline beings." Professor Zilkstaran arrived next, body pulsing with colors Alex had never seen before. "Your actions today have changed perceptions, Alex Mason. The Academy Council wishes to formally recognize your bravery once you have recovered." As the professor left, Alex closed his eyes, exhausted but satisfied. He had come to the Academy hoping to represent humanity. Well, today, he had shown the galaxy not just the physical capabilities that came from Earth's harsh environment, but also the compassion and self-sacrifice that humans valued. It was a beginning, a small step toward bridging the gap between Deathworlders and the rest of galactic society. 2 weeks after the gravity incident, Alex stood before the Academy's governing council. His ribs had healed, and only faint bruises remained as evidence of his ordeal. He wore a formal Academy uniform, modified with the Earth symbol on the collar. The council chamber was a vast circular room with seating for hundreds. Today it was filled to capacity with students and faculty from every species represented at the Academy. The 7 council members sat on elevated platforms, each adapted to their particular biology. Chancellor Xylos, the head of the council, was an ancient being from a silicon-based species. His crystalline body caught the light and broke it into rainbows that danced across the chamber. Beside him sat the other council members, representatives of the oldest and most respected civilizations in the Confederation. "Alex Mason of Earth," Chancellor Xylos began, his translated voice resonating through the chamber. "You stand before us today because of actions that many of us witnessed during the recent gravitational crisis." Alex remained silent, as he had been instructed to do during this formal ceremony. "In the face of conditions that would have meant certain death for most of us," the Chancellor continued, "you displayed not only physical capabilities that astound us, but a moral courage that transcends biological classification. Today we recognize not merely a Deathworlder among us, but a being whose actions embody the highest ideals of our institution." Another council member, a gaseous entity contained within a special field, spoke next. "The 17 beings you saved included members of species that have historically feared Deathworlders. You handled their fragile forms with care despite your own injuries. This contradicts many of our assumptions about life from extreme environments." Alex felt hundreds of eyes, sensory stalks, and other perception organs focused on him. The fear and suspicion he had faced during his first months were gone, replaced by something new: respect. Chancellor Xylos floated down from his platform, holding a small object that glowed with inner light. "We present you with the Constellation Medal, the Academy's highest honor for valor. You are the first-year student in the Academy's 3,000-year history to receive this distinction." Alex bowed his head as the Chancellor placed the medal around his neck. It was surprisingly heavy, made from metals he didn't recognize and shaped like a spiral galaxy. "Thank you," Alex said when he was permitted to speak. "On Earth, we have a saying, anyone would have done the same. But I understand now that's not true across the galaxy. Different worlds shape different instincts. I'm just grateful my human adaptations could help in a crisis." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of sounds as beings applauded in their various ways. Some flashed colors, others released scent patterns, and some vibrated at specific frequencies that Alex could feel through the floor. In the days that followed, Alex found himself in high demand. Students from across the academy sought him out, not just for his physical abilities but for his perspective. His study group expanded into an unofficial cross-species cultural exchange program that attracted attention throughout the Confederation. 1. Morning, Professor Elixtor, a leading expert on evolutionary biology, requested Alex's presence in the xenobiology laboratory. Alex had taken the professor's advanced course but had never been invited to the restricted research facilities before. Alex Mason, the professor greeted him. The tall insectoid being's compound eyes reflected the lab's bright lights. Thank you for coming. I have a proposal that might interest you. The lab was filled with complex equipment. Holographic displays showed DNA sequences and protein structures rotating slowly in 3 dimensions. Your species' ability to acclimate to extreme conditions is unparalleled, Professor Elixtor explained. We believe this trait may hold answers to questions we've been asking for centuries. What kind of questions? Alex asked. About adaptability itself. Most species in the Confederation evolved in stable environments. Those from more challenging worlds usually develop specialized adaptations to specific conditions. Humans, however, seem to thrive in almost any environment. The professor's antennae quivered with excitement. We would like you to participate in a research project studying this remarkable trait. Over the next month, Alex underwent a series of carefully monitored experiments. The research team observed how his body responded to changes in temperature, pressure, radiation levels, and atmospheric composition. They documented his physical capabilities and his cognitive responses to stress. What fascinated them most was not just his physical resilience, but his psychological adaptability. When placed in completely unfamiliar situations, Alex's problem-solving abilities actually improved rather than deteriorated. It's not unique to me, Alex told them. Earth's constantly changing conditions created this trait in all humans. Our planet has gone through ice ages and warming periods, droughts and floods. We've had to adapt not just physically, but mentally. Professor Elixtor's team discovered that Earth's unstable environment had created in humans a neural plasticity rare among galactic species. Most beings in the Confederation had evolved in more stable conditions, developing highly specialized brains optimized for specific environments. Your findings correlate with what we've observed in human history, Alex explained to the research team. Whenever humans encounter a new problem, we adapt. Sometimes we fail, but we keep trying different approaches until we succeed. The professor displayed a comparison of brain scans from various species, including Alex's. Most sentient brains follow predictable patterns when processing new information. Yours creates entirely new neural pathways at a rate we've never observed before. Is that unusual? Alex asked. It should be impossible, the professor replied. Neural structures are among the most conserved features across all known species. They typically change only through long evolutionary processes, not within a single lifetime. As word of the research spread, Alex received a message from Chancellor Xylos requesting a private meeting. He found the ancient being in a small garden that simulated the silicon-based Chancellor's homeworld environment. Alex Mason, the Chancellor's crystalline form, vibrated as he spoke. Professor Elixtor has shared his preliminary findings with the Council. I hope they're useful, Alex said, carefully sitting on a stone bench designed for beings much heavier than humans. They are more than useful. They are revolutionary. The Chancellor's form glowed with inner light. For millennia, we have classified worlds by their habitability. Death worlds like Earth were considered evolutionary dead ends, too harsh to produce advanced civilizations. But humans did evolve there, Alex pointed out. Yes, and now we must question our most basic assumptions about intelligence and adaptation. The Chancellor shifted, sending rainbow patterns across the garden walls. The Council has approved a new initiative. We wish to establish an exchange program that would bring more humans to study among the stars. That's wonderful news, Alex said, genuinely pleased. There is more, the Chancellor continued. We also propose sending selected Academy students to experience life on Earth, under controlled conditions, of course. Alex was surprised. You want to send other species to Earth? But the gravity alone would be crushing for most of you. With proper support technology, short visits would be possible, and the benefits could be immense. The Chancellor's voice carried a tone Alex had never heard before, something like excitement. We believe exposure to Earth conditions might reawaken dormant adaptive capabilities in other species. You think other species could become more adaptable by experiencing a death world? It is a theory we wish to test, and who better to guide such an experiment than the Academy's first Deathworlder? The rainbow patterns from the Chancellor intensified. What do you say, Alex Mason? Will you help bridge these two very different evolutionary paths? Alex thought about everything that had happened since he arrived at the Academy. He had come as a curiosity, a biological oddity from a harsh world. Now he was being asked to help reshape how the galaxy understood adaptation itself. I would be honored, he said finally, but I have one condition. Name it, the Chancellor replied. The first place we take your students on Earth has to be for ice cream. Alex smiled. It's a frozen treat that humans eat for pleasure. If you want to understand humans, that's where we start, with the things we create purely for joy, not just survival. The Chancellor's form pulsed with what Alex had learned to recognize as laughter. Agreed. The Galactic Academy's first field trip to a death world will begin with frozen nutritional substances consumed for pleasure. As Alex left the garden, he felt a sense of purpose stronger than anything he'd experienced before. His journey was no longer just about representing humanity. It was about helping the galaxy rediscover something it had lost, the power of adaptation itself. The end of the academic year approached quickly. The Academy buzzed with excitement about the annual Galactic Sciences Symposium, where students presented their research to delegates from across the Confederation. This year held special significance, as Alex and his diverse research team prepared to reveal their findings on adaptability across species. Alex worked closely with Lila, Krill, Zeph, and 3 other students who had joined their project after the gravity incident. They had spent months collecting data on psychological resilience from volunteers representing 27 different species. On the morning of their presentation, Alex's team gathered in one of the research labs for a final review of their findings. Lila was examining neural scan comparisons when she suddenly gasped, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with bright blue patterns of excitement. Alex, look at this, she said, her voice trembling. The adaptability patterns in your brain, they're not unique to humans. The team crowded around the holographic display showing comparative brain scans. What do you mean? Alex asked. Professor Elixtor's research showed that human neural plasticity is unprecedented. In active form, yes, Lila agreed. But look at these dormant neural structures in Krill's brain. She pointed to sections of the scan highlighted in red. And here in Zeph's and mine, they're nearly identical to your active adaptation centers, just inactive. Alex stared at the display in disbelief. Are you saying all sentient species have the same adaptability potential as humans? Not exactly the same, Krill said, his forearms moving excitedly as he examined the data. But the basic structures are there in every species we've scanned. They're just sleeping. The team spent the next few hours frantically analyzing all their data with this new perspective. What they discovered was revolutionary. The neural adaptability that humans considered their evolutionary advantage was present, to varying degrees, in almost every sentient species in the galaxy. The difference wasn't biological, but environmental and cultural. Most galactic civilizations reached a point thousands of years ago, where they eliminated environmental challenges entirely, Zeph explained as they prepared their presentation. They no longer needed to adapt because their environments were perfectly calibrated to their needs. And after hundreds of generations, these neural pathways went dormant. Alex finished the thought. Not lost, just unused. The symposium was held in the Academy's Grand Hall, the largest space on the station. Representatives from every Confederation world filled the vast chamber. Chancellor Xylos and the entire council sat in the front row. Alex could see Professor Zilxteron and Professor Elixtor watching with interest. When it was their turn to present, Alex stepped onto the stage with his team. He took a deep breath and began. honored delegates, faculty, and fellow students. Our team has been studying adaptability across species. We expected to confirm what everyone believes, that humans from Earth possess unique neural adaptability due to our Deathworld origins. What we found instead will change our understanding of sentient life forever. The presentation that followed caused a sensation. Using brain scans, evolutionary models, and historical data, Alex's team demonstrated how comfort and technological advancement had not just changed galactic societies, they had begun to alter evolutionary trajectories. What we're proposing, Alex explained to the stunned audience, is that the traits that define Deathworlders, adaptability, resilience, creative problem-solving under pressure, are not unique to humans. They are the fundamental characteristics of all sentient life. Humans haven't evolved exceptional abilities. We've simply never stopped using our original ones. Lila stepped forward to explain the neural evidence. These adaptation centers exist in all of us. In humans, they remain active because Earth continues to challenge them. In most Confederation species, they've gone dormant after millennia of perfectly controlled environments. Krill demonstrated experiments showing how these dormant pathways could be temporarily reactivated under certain conditions. When exposed to moderate controlled stress, test subjects showed increased neural activity in these regions, very similar to human patterns. The audience erupted in discussion. Some delegates appeared troubled by the implications, others fascinated. Chancellor Xylos rose slowly from his seat after the presentation ended. "In my 300 years," the ancient being intoned, "I have never encountered a more revolutionary concept. If correct, this theory suggests that we have been misunderstanding ourselves for millennia." The days following the symposium were chaotic. News of the findings spread throughout the Confederation. Some scientific communities rejected the idea, outright calling it Deathworlder propaganda. Others began their own research to verify the claims. The Academy established a new department dedicated to what they called reclamation physiology, the study of reawakening dormant evolutionary traits through controlled environmental challenges. Alex was appointed as the department's first human consultant. One evening, as the academic year drew to a close, Alex stood at a viewing portal of the Academy station, looking out at the stars. Krill, Lila, and Zeph joined him there. "So you'll be returning to Earth for the break?" Lila asked. "Yes, but not for long," Alex replied. "I'll be helping set up the exchange program. 10 students from the Academy will visit Earth next term, and 20 new human students will join the Academy." "I volunteered to be part of the Earth expedition," Krill said, his crest tentacles wiggling with excitement. "With the special gravity. Compensators, of course." "And I," added Zeph. "I want to see these birds that my species supposedly resembles." "The council approved my research grant," Lila said. "I'll be studying how exposure to varying environments affects neural activation. We think even short periods of adaptive challenge might have lasting benefits." Alex smiled at his friends. "When I first came here, I thought I was a curiosity, a biological oddity from a harsh world. I never imagined I'd end up challenging the galaxy's entire understanding of evolution." "That's the greatest shock of all, isn't it?" Zeph said thoughtfully. "Not that humans are special, but that we all are. Or at least we all were once and could be again." "It won't be easy," Lila cautioned. "Many species will resist the idea. Some are comfortable with the way things are." "Change never is easy," Alex agreed. "But adaptation is what sentient life does best, even if some of us have forgotten how." A message appeared on Alex's tablet. The Academy had approved his proposal for an expanded exchange program. The plan included not just academic exchanges, but cultural ones as well. Art, music, literature, and cuisine from Earth shared with the galaxy, and galactic culture brought to humans. "It's just the beginning," Alex told his friends as they looked out at the vastness of space. "For thousands of years, different worlds have been growing apart, becoming more specialized and isolated in their own environmental bubbles. Maybe it's time we all remembered that we came from the same stars, faced the same challenges, and found our own ways to survive." As the four friends stood together, A human, an aquatic bioluminescent being, a four-armed low-gravity dweller, and an avian glider. They represented something new in the galaxy. A future where differences were not just tolerated, but celebrated, as different solutions to the same universal challenges of existence. The Academy's first Deathworlder had arrived as a curiosity, but would leave as a catalyst for change. Not because he was so different from everyone else, but because he had helped them all remember how similar they truly were.